Yeah, I'm putting cases on bitch niggas now.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating.
You thought you were smarter than everyone else. They waste scammed your people and acquired your wealth. You were scandalous, all about yourself. But now we gon' take it all back and give the people real help. You were the bully of the internet, trolling was an obsession, showing aggression to those who came with questions. Had people donating to build your empire. But now the roof is on fire and about to expire. You wife about leaving your family, scared that the world is gonna discover that you're really a fit. All the disrespecting while in witness protection, hiding in plain sight undetected.
Come on!
But you attacked wrong brother
and started a war. I guess
your pops never warned you not to
play with them more.
You thought you were smarter than everyone else.
Come on, check in, family.
They waste scammed your people and acquired your wealth. You were scandalous, all about yourself. But now we gon' take it all back and give the people real help. Everything you got it.
Come on.
Mental extortion. I know you're praying too much you'll lose your for. You don't lose your
we back
for
in business.
I know trying to figure how you can win this game. Put your assets into Shirley, your peanut name.
But that won't work
because the more is intelligent. When it all said and done, you're gonna end up selling it. You should have checked your ego, shut your mouth. Now the world is watching as the more air you out. Thought you were smarter than everyone else. They waste scammed your people and acquired your wealth. You were scandalous, all about yourself. But now we gon' take it all back and give the people real help.
Welcome to another
people real.
I'm your host, Brother Tariq Nasheed, and we are going to have a beautiful evening, if you will allow me to. This song here is dedicated to no other.
You thought you were smarter
than Sneaky
than
Winky.
everyone else.
Yes.
They waste scammed your
We've been on his
people
heels.
and acquired
And we don't plan that
your
up.
wealth. You were scandalous.
So if you got a problem with it,
all about
I suggest
yourself.
you find
Now
another
we gonna
series.
take it all back and
'Cause
give
this
the
one
people
here
real help.
is taken. What's up, royalty? West Indian royalty. Good goodness and gracious. We got him in the building. We got West Indian royalty in the building. Oh, man, you're going to love this show, West Indian royalty. Yeah. You're gonna love this one. If the last 3 or 4 was good, you're gonna love this one. These Africans in denial. They in denial. And I ain't talking about the river. You understand what I'm saying? These Africans are definitely in denial. Let's get it cracking. Come on. Come on.
I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember.
That's right.
I be that more you gon' remember. To Bay front line till the law call my number.
Yeah.
I be that more you gon' remember. remember, that's right. I'll be that boy you gon' remember. Talk the Bay front line till the law call my number. You a friend of the Moors, then you's a friend of mine. I was told to watch my enemies, now hold my line. Those that speak against the prophet, they speak against me. And I'm speaking about the prophet over Drew Ali, who was the first to remind you and bind you back to Morocco, the mountains, Mississippi, and Quebec. Told you you wasn't black, proved it was straight fact. You tripping off trucks, you need to be tripping off that. Now here we go again, acting like you a slave. The same people talk European how to bathe, and looking at women buying European hair. No love for self, but do the men really care? Hell nah, cause they got a love for Europe. Whole generation chasing pills, weed and syrup. Yeah, they love Lil Yachty, Tucci, Gucci, Kodak, Amigos, Ross, Lucid. But when the love for the woman look like your mother, I guess they say it's all black when it's under the cover. Now cypher, I'll be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, that's right. I'll be that more you gon' remember. To Hawker Bay front line till the law call my number. I'll be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, that's right. I'll be that more you gon' remember. To Hawker Bay front line till the law call my number. All you super scholars holler, this era for the workers. You ain't building on the ground, then you worse than a twerker. You look and sound good, but that's only on the surface. Probably working for the people. Now tell me what's your purpose. Ain't worried about your homie, but know that I know every mo that rock a fast. He ain't my bro. Yeah, you know I ain't slow. I seen it all before. How they try to kill the prophet, it was all for show. And some got it right now. Don't say that I'm not down. I'm coming for my vast estate. I want my town, my sheriff, my stores, my school, my nation. Sick and tired of the procrastination and debate. Y'all keep hating when love is the savior. You don't love yourself, so you can't love your neighbor. That's why you killing, fighting, marry out of your race. If you ain't for Moore's world, then get out of my face. Cause Chinese love China, Italians love Italy. If you used to love the Moore's world, come on and build it with me. Let's go. I'll be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, that's right. I'll be that more you gon' remember. To Hawker Bay front line till the law call my number. I'll be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, oh yeah. I'll be that more you gon' remember. To Hawker Bay front line till the law call my number. I'll be that more you gon' remember, be more. I'll be that more you gon' remember, that time. I'll be that more you gon' remember. To Hawker Bay front line till the law call my number. I'll be that more you gon' remember, LA. I'll be that more you gon' remember, New York. I'll be that more you gon' remember. To Hawker Bay front line till the law call my number.
Welcome to another edition of Morse World TV. I'm your host, Brother Tahaka Bay. And what I'm doing right now is I just want to send somebody did a post on, and I hope they're watching. I hope they're watching the show tonight. They asked me a question because the last show that I said that, oh, I need to turn the mic up. The last show, let me turn it up a little bit more. Hold up. My bad. My sound is a little bit off today. The last show, I had mentioned that one second. I had mentioned that the islands had facilitated runaway slaves, if you can remember that. I said that the islands facilitated runaway slaves. And hold on one second. I'm working on it. I said that the island had facilitated runaway slaves. And at the end of the day, somebody went on the post and they said, what are you talking about? You mean the Caribbeans facilitated runaway slaves? I said, of course. What are you talking? Man, listen, this is the problem with this mixed bag of information that people are trying to deliver to those who are less read than some of us, or less studied than some of us. And so let me look on my phone. I should have sent it to, let me see if I can send it to myself and I can share it with everybody, because I think it's very important, because not only do I give a nice presentation with all the bells and whistles of a social media show, I also do my best to educate also. And so that's one of the main goals of Morse World TV, is to educate, and get people to start thinking. You know what I mean? That's to educate and get people to start thinking. I think I just sent it to myself. Let me see what I got here. Ding, 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 ding. I want to show y'all this because somebody mentioned that show me. Here it is. I'm going to show it to you right now. Bing, 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 bing. Peep this. Right here. Can you name me one black African slave runaway that ever made it to the island? Because you remember when I mentioned that I said the Caribbeans would facilitate runaway slaves. And I think our people, her name is Sheba Health 5667. And I think our people are so underread that they don't understand how this worked. I want y'all to press 7 if y'all remember me saying this. Remember I said that slavery could not end without the help of outsiders, is basically what I said. And what our people don't understand is that the mode of the most famous mode of transportation today is automobiles. The most popular mode of transportation, arguably, it would be a boat or horse. You follow what I'm saying? And so when some of the slaves escaped, they didn't only escape on foot. They also was being helped by those that own ships. And some of these ships facilitated some of these runaway slaves. If you are familiar with, let me see. The saltwater. Anybody familiar with the saltwater railroad? Let me Google it real quick. The saltwater railroad was comparable to the Underground Railroad. Let me Google this real quick. Saltwater Railroad. Family, look it up. Educate yourself so you can teach your children this. Here we go. Enslaved people from the American South escaped to the Caribbean islands through various routes, particularly during the 18th and 19th century. One significant route was the Saltwater Railroad, which led freedom seekers from the southeastern slave states of South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida to the Bahamas, a British colony where enslaved people were legally free. Anybody Google that real quick for our people? For anybody ever Google that, make sure, because people think our people was just broke back, leaning over, picking cotton with no assistance, no help, etc., etc. Go ahead and Google that. Do your research on that. It's called the Saltwater Railroad. And there's other instances in history where those that own ships, they also help facilitate slavery, runaway slaves, or what they would call slave fugitives, to get out of there. You follow what I'm saying? So when people do not study, they're easy. When people don't read, they're easy to be played by someone like Tariq Nasheed. You follow what I'm saying? Let me see what we got in this crowd tonight. I mean, before I turn all the way up, you know what I mean? We gotta make sure that we share this type of information people are not familiar with. You know what I mean? People are definitely not familiar with. For some reason, this is some of that. This is the hidden history. I'm going to do hidden history documentary. It's the hidden history. Let me finish reading this Google thing. It says, the British colony where enslaved people were legally free upon arrival after 1825. The Bahamas attracted many escapees due to its status as British-controlled islands, where black people could own land, own land, access education, and be legally married. This was after 1825. See, people be thinking that the slaves was just uncivilized to the point where, they was waiting on somebody to do something. No, they had support, they had help, and yeah, they only tell us the grimy part of slavery, but you're going to have to read yourself to understand the other parts of slavery. You have to read yourself. You have to educate yourself. It says, actually, illegally married. By the 1830s, historians estimate at least 6,000 freedom seekers had reached the Bahamas. You know what I mean? They don't know, brother. 6,000 reached Bahamas, making the Caribbean colony with the highest number of escaped slaves during that period. And so, for someone to come on the post, and it was asked respectfully, you know what I mean? But for someone to come on the post and ask the question, well, here's the answer. Can you name one black African slave runaway that has made it to the islands? No, I can name 6,000. 6,000. And that's recorded history. And see, this is a problem that people will always have with Moorish World TV and Brother Tahaka Bey. Because Brother Tahaka Bey is the people's Grand Sheik, and I'm going to give the information to the people the way they need to have it so they ultimately can go research it. One thing that I discovered is, while I was putting this show together, I said, you know that most people that talk about that they're not African, they're only listening to people who are teaching them by the way of folklore and fantasy information. They're only listening. The people that they're listening to, I even went to Dane Calloway, some of Dane Calloway videos, and I'm like, Dane Calloway logic is very, very off. And I'm not, listen, family, I know somebody gonna pass this to him, and I'm not attacking Dane Calloway. I'm only addressing his scholarship as it relates to what he been standing on. He said, I read my Circle 7 every day. That's the foundation of Kung Fu Joe. That's the foundation of what I draw from, without a doubt. But I'm looking at Dane Calloway, at some of his older videos and some of the newer videos. I'm like, what he really is doing is he putting forth information that he's tweaking to make it make sense to his audience. But in reality, if you challenge it, it doesn't make a lot of sense. It really doesn't make a lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? But if you do your research, you can find out that not only did our people make it to the Bahamas, but we made it to Panama, we made it to other British islands, we made it to a lot of places. But let me get to the point right here. These brothers, whether it be FBA or whether it be people with feathers in their head looking like they came straight from Gambia, these people are, they just hate themselves. They just hate themselves so much. Listen. This is my challenge, and I'm gonna say it a couple times throughout this show. This is my challenge. When you see somebody with this Indian feather in their head like this, right? I mean, when you see somebody like this, right? When you see somebody like this, my question is, what is the phenotype of this guy? Now, look at Steve say, we even have black Seminoles in the Bahamas via Florida on the islands. Cool, that's nothing wrong with that. But check out what I'm about to present, Steve. When you see people doing like this, like, look at the phenotype. Look at the phenotype. The phenotype, the facial features, et cetera, et cetera. Family, do me a favor. Find me one authentic Native American, quote unquote, Indian picture with this phenotype. Find one. An original picture. Now, I'm not saying that it doesn't exist, but most of the pictures that you see are drawn. Nowadays, AI. But here is the flip side of the argument. Let me go down the line real quick. Let me go down the line for these people that say that they are Aboriginal, indigenous, and all of these things. Let's go down the line real quick. Let's do that. Family, here is the test. You know what I mean? Here is the test. Right here. Watch this. Here is the test. Give me 1 second. Here is the test. Family, at the end of the day, this is what the slave looked like. This is what the slave looked like. This is a variable of what the slave looked like in America. This is an authentic picture, and one of the Harvard has the biggest collection of these type of pictures of slaves. This is what the slave looked like in America. Now, let's finish. Let's finish. The reason why we have variables today is because this brother. What you mean cameras wasn't invented? Who said cameras what? This guy said cameras wasn't invented. See how uneducated we are? Here we go. This guy, see how uneducated we are? This is how uneducated we are. He claimed that cameras wasn't invented during the time of slavery. What are you talking about, family? And I just Googled this real quick, family. Use your phone. Stop playing games with your phone and use your phone to learn something, because you're jumping out the window right now. Cameras wasn't even invented. What are you talking about? Cryptonomics just put in there. The Gemini camera was invented in 1816. This is an 1850-something photo. You, family, use your phone for more than playing games and watching dumb Tariq Nasheed. Come on now. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. The person would say, how you going to find pictures when cameras wasn't invented? Then he going to come back and say, that's a picture of an FBA. Would you just shut up? Would you just shut up and learn something, brother? Just learn something. Let me move on. One of the things that I'm trying to say is he's saying that this is let's deal with the concept by a Frenchman. What that got to do with anything? Yes, the 1816 camera. There was cameras in America. There was cameras in America in 1850. What are we doing? Why are we wasting time with this? What are we doing? I didn't say when no. Please block Black Gemini. Let me block him, because I didn't say when no white man. I don't even use the term white first came to America. Let me block this fool. Let me watch from the outside, man. I don't even use the term whites. What are you talking about? Yeah, man, hey, block him, man. It's a distraction. Anyway, back to my point. That's probably Tariq Nasheed. Anyway, the point that I'm making is this. You know what I mean? The point that I'm making is this. When we look at the phenotype of the slave in America, right? We see that today. You know what I mean? We see that today. You know what I mean? So my thing is, for those who putting feathers in their head, why don't we ever see, when they tell us that the black Seminoles and the black this and the black that, and I get that, they got the silky hair and all of that and the dark complexion. In fact, my birth name is named Toronto. I mean, my birth name is Toronto. Toronto is a Native American name. So I'm qualified to speak on the topic, right? I think I am. You know what I mean? But now let me say this. Let me say this. If I showed you my great grandmother has that long face like I have. She has the shiny, dark complexion, kind of look like leather, you know what I'm saying, with long hair, all of that, right? Silky black hair and all of that. The question would be now is this. How many slave pictures of people that look like that? How many? How many slave pictures do we have of people that look like the pictures that they show us of the black Indians? All the slave pictures that we have, the phenotype is African. And I'm using the term African for the lack of using of another term, but for the sake of this conversation, every description, every picture, everything that we ever seen of a slave, none of them look like the Indians that people present to us as the black Indians. Press 7 if you understand what I'm saying. In fact, I got a couple pictures that I'm going to share with you, because I thought that was very unique. Real talk, I thought that was very unique. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was very unique, that all of the slaves that we ever seen in these pictures, in real pictures, all of these slaves, every single one of them have African features, pure African features. Look at this. Now, I'm not denying the existence of black Indians, quote unquote, as people like to say, but these are African features. So is the argument that you're not African, that you're a Seminole, but you have African features? Because majority of the people that make this argument, they have African features. Do y'all get what I'm saying with this, man? This is why it's a silly argument. We're going to knock this out the park. No longer can you keep running that slick talk, because you don't have the features of the people that you claim. You don't have the features of the people that you claim. You feel me? You don't have the features. Dane Calloway do not have the features. He does not have the features. The same people that they put on the internet, the same people that they splatter and say, look, the black Indians, these are black Indians. They was here. These are black Indians. You don't look like them. You don't look like them. You don't look like her. So the argument that people are making, they seem to be making an argument for somebody else. Of course, there were dark complexion people here. Let me get to another side of the argument. I'm teaching tonight. Is it okay if I teach tonight, family? Family, is it okay if I teach tonight? Is that all right? Press 7 if it's okay if I teach tonight. Do it sound like I'm preaching or something? Some people say when I teach, it sound like I'm preaching. Press 7. Let me see if I can get some 7s real quick. Is it okay if I teach tonight? They say, when you going to teach Morris Science? You know how long they've been saying that on Morris Rail TV? If it's okay if I teach tonight. So listen. Let's run down some more pictures. Because they're saying this is what we stuck with. These are the pictures that we are stuck with. These are African features. These are not Seminole. These are not Blackfoot. These are not what people have been talking about on the internet. These are African features. All of the pictures that was ever taken, we don't see one that look like the picture that people claim to be black Indians. Now we know that, listen, let me finish. I'm using the term black Indians for the sake of the conversation. We know that there was dark-skinned people here, dark-skinned people everywhere. But hold up, what about the argument about Christopher Columbus when he came to the Americas, he seen black people? So let's stop right there for a second. Christopher Columbus never made it to a place that would become the United States of America. That's number one. Christopher Columbus never made it to the land that would be called the United States of America. Press 7 if you're with me. Where did Christopher Columbus find these people? Where did he find these people that he said look like black people, or we use the term black people, whatever we want to use? Where did he find them people? 2 places that I can remember. 1, the Bahamas. 2, in Haiti. So they'll use Christopher Columbus. They'll use Christopher Columbus and say, Christopher Columbus said that we was here. He's not talking about you in the United States of America, because he never touched foot on the United States of America. He's talking about the people that you call tethers, the Bahamas and Haiti. Huh? Man, we destroy these arguments. The problem with these straw man arguments, the problem with these straw man arguments is that nobody double back and double check. But because I teach this and been teaching history from a Moorish perspective, which is to me is a universal perspective because I don't do pseudo, I'm familiar with a lot of stuff. I had to dust off the things in my mind. I have to dust off some of the books of my mind and be like, hold up, man. We letting these people say anything. Like, we literally letting these people say anything on the internet. Like, and I got a podcast, so why should I let somebody say anything when I have a voice? I have a voice. No, I can't let you say anything. I have a voice. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. But look, do these people in this picture look like the Seminoles that all of these people talk about? Look at her. Look at her. Look, where's hold on. Let me find me a picture. They always like to bring up this picture right here. Do these people look the same? Do these people look the same? This sister wasn't enslaved. This sister wasn't enslaved. But guess what? At the end of the day, if we do deeper research, we will find out that 2 things would happen. You know, people always, some of these internet people, their evidence is, my grandmother said we ain't come from Africa. That's your evidence. That's your evidence. My grandmother said we not from Africa. That what grandma said? Okay. Let's look at what history says. Let's look at that. And let's compare it. You know what my grandmother said? My grandmother told me that she doesn't have a slave story. And I got her recorded saying that. But I take that into an account, and I look at history too. You know what I mean? All of us was not slaves here too. I do know that. All of us of African descent were not chattel slaves, if you will. Not all of us, But you know what a lot of people in my neighborhood say? You got Indian in your family. Y'all remember that? People would say that. You got in the 80s, you had Indian in your family. You got good hair, you got Indian in your family. in the 2025, they just say, I'm Indian. That's how they flipped it. You know what I mean? But let's think about that for a minute. You got Indian in your family. If we go back to history like a mastermind can trace themselves back and take a look at what history, what really happened in history, you may do have Indian in your family. Because the variables of what happened in history is the Native Americans, whom they call Indians, owned slaves. They was in the slave trade business too. They were in the slave trade business too. Number one. Number two, you had some Indian tribes that would accept escaped slaves into their tribe as family. Number three, this is the variables. Number three, once these blends would happen, people would claim the tribe so they would not be forced to go back to the plantation, and they would be able to live as a Native American and not as a refugee or a person as that got a price on their head to go back to slavery. So they will blend into the culture so they wouldn't be a fugitive. It's not that they were, it's kind of like, see, this is where nationality comes into play. It's kind of like nationality. Nationality is not necessarily, genetics is not a prerequisite for nationality. You understand what I'm saying? Genetics is not a prerequisite for nationality. For example, a person can be an American and come from China. American is a nationality, if you will, a United States citizen, if you will. And you can be naturalized into a nationality. And you can say, I'm American, because you naturalized, or you were born on the soil. And that's the law of the land. It's not what you dictate, it's the laws of the land. These laws are drawn out of the laws of our ancestors, indigenous and otherwise, wherever you choose to claim. You know what I'm saying? These laws comes out of Africa. The whole point that I'm making is that when you join a tribe or a confederacy, you can take on not only the identity of the tribe or the confederacy and not be genetically connected to it. Every morning you send your children to school and they make a pledge of allegiance. That makes them American, whether you accept American or not. They pledge an allegiance. Not only do they pledge an allegiance, they pledge an allegiance, right? But they also are afforded, supposedly, all the things of a citizen. Well, that's the same thing that would happen during the time our people would escape from slavery. Africans, they would intermingle with the natives, and they would take on not only the descriptive name of the native, Cherokee, Chickasaw, whatever, they would take on the name, but they would also take on the cultural particulars. In other words, they would blend right into the culture, but these are Africans. When they had children that was part native, part African, and then you have the silky wavy hair that we talk about. Now, not to say, listen, not to say that there is not, I want to underscore this, that there, what happened? Dang, my whole joint cut down. Hold on. How'd that happen? Hold on 1 second. Y'all see that light flicker? The whole point is that people are mixing history. I think I better unplug that. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna address this question in a minute. African is a continent. Brother, tell us something we don't know. Let me address the brother point because he seemed like he wants some attention. Listen, if anybody knows that African is a continent, it's I. So as I started this presentation, I said African for the lack of using another term because I want us on the same page. So I'm using African as a misnomer because that's what people can comprehend on the level of calling themselves Native, Aboriginal, Indigenous, and saying that they're not Africans. You see what I'm saying? So I'm using the term African, Mr. Scholar, as a relatable term for those who claim not to be African. But of course we know that Africa is a continent with about 55 countries. Of course we know that. But what I'm referring to, and I said it the other night, an extension to what I just said, I'm talking about the inhabitants and the borders, what is described as Africa today. So you're creating an argument that doesn't exist. I'm using this only as a relatable term to make a point. Is that all right with you, my brother? I mean, is that all right with you, brother? You're very, whoever E1, you're very elementary in presenting. If you're Africans, then what country of Africa are you from? Brother, we was doing that 15 years ago. I don't have to project how smart I am with basic understanding of anything. I'm trying to have a conversation with those who claim that they're not African. And what they're saying is they're not from the inhabitants of the borders, which is defined as Africa. That's all they're saying. And I'm addressing it today. Is that all right? Is that all right with you? Good goodness gracious. Is that all right with you? I'm not trying to describe, to explain a continent from a country. That's not what I'm doing here today. All right? Which I could easily describe that. That's not what I'm doing. But here we go again. We don't see any of the people that people use. We don't see any of the people that people use for to be describing themselves. Look at the black Indians. They were here before Columbus. Look at the black Indians. And then they show a picture like this. And then they show a picture like this. Like, that ain't you. That ain't you. That ain't you, Brian. That ain't you at all. This is not you. And this is not the people that was in the slave field. This is not them. Now show me one picture. One picture. Show me one picture. Show me one. Show me one. This is not you. None of this is you. This is not you. Look at this. This is not you. This is not you. These people be putting off feathers and everything. This is not you. These are not the people that were enslaved during the time that the Africans descended from the inhabitants of Africa was enslaved. This is not you. Y'all are acting crazy because you hate yourself so much that you just want to be something else. This ain't you. You just want to be something else. It's sad to watch. This is not you. And the sisters, y'all even worse, because this ain't you. You know good and well. Look at this. Hold on. Let me do it again. Hold on. Let me do it again. This is not you, sis. Sis. Come on, sis. Come on, sis. Now, they do look similar, but this is not you, sis. I'm saying the Indian people that they keep saying that they Indians. These are Africans enslaved. These are the Africans. These are the Africans. They say they not African. Who are you? These are the only way that you, my sisters that have hair like this, this tribal Indian is when they go up there to Wu Sun Lee and go and get that stuff that they didn't cut off somebody from India hair. That's it. That's it. Most of them. I'm telling you, most of them. So, sis, just be good with who you are. It's all right. It's all right. Because this is who your ancestors are. These are your ancestors. See, we don't like to look at that. We don't like to look at how we had fallen victim and become victimized for so long. Perm or sew it in. They gonna get mad at us. You better stop. But I'm trying to make a point. You know what I mean? Look, he said, look like Aboriginal Americans to me, not Africans. But you have made, he's going to make something Aboriginal. These are Africans. And you know, and this is the thing. And this is the thing that people have to understand. Do you realize that we're not that far removed from slavery? It seemed like a long time ago, but in reality, it's not that long ago. It's not that long. I didn't say my people can't grow hair. Come on, Lady Spade. I said most of those that's making this claim. Come on, Lady Spade. Don't do that to me. I didn't say my people can't grow hair. My people, listen, my people are let me show you something, Lady Spade. Let me take a detour. Let me take a detour real quick. Let me show you something, Lady Spade. I don't get into that. I don't get to that. Oh my goodness, hold on. Let me show you something, Lady Spade. Let me show you something. I'm gonna show you something real quick. Africa is the biggest DNA pool on the planet. You understand me? So some places have the long flowing hair. Other places have the more coarse, thick hair. And it's all environmental. It has nothing whatsoever to do with shaming. That's one, and I guess I got to be careful. I mean, I guess I got to be careful because anytime you mention a sister's hair, they get really beside themselves. But our people from the continent and around the world has the biggest gene pool anywhere on the planet. And so, depending upon the environment in which that phenotype has developed in, the physical in regard to hair will suit that environment. But don't ever think that I am tripping off can't grow hair. I could care less. It ain't important to me. Anyway, and an American is an Aboriginal and original dark people, dark skin complexion. I hear you. But these, what we're looking at on this screen, are our people that came off the slave ship, that people are denying. I mean, I know I don't look like those people. Listen, Lady Spade, you got to go back and catch the show. I said earlier on the show, I hate to double back and say the same thing. I said earlier on the show, my birth name is Toronto. I said my great-grandmother, and I can show you a picture, she looks like the silky-haired natives that we come across. I said that. I literally said that. And then I gave the caveat about history, how that could come about. But I'm not going backwards no more. I'm here to say that these people that are claiming indigenous, that these people are claiming that no boats came here, they make a whole bunch of claims. That the slave trade didn't happen, no Africans came here, they was the native people, and I can agree with some of that to a degree. But what you looking here, what is documented, is all African featured people. In fact, if we go a step further and not be so lazy, we literally can follow the trail. Do you know they had an argument a few years ago. They had an argument a few years ago that no slavery happened by the way of Africans coming over here on the boats. And the argument was, where is the boats? Press 7 if you ever heard that argument. Where is the boats? Where is the boats? Ain't no boats, so it couldn't have happened. Anybody ever heard that argument? And it's like, it's an elementary school argument. When I first heard it, I was like, wow. I ain't gonna front. I was like, wow, yeah, where are the boats? I was like, I got caught up in that demonstration too. I was like, wow, where are the boats? But now, watch this though. If you go to the Smithsonian Institute, walk with me. If you go to the Harvard Library online, you hear me? You literally can see the boat manifesto. You literally can see the bill of lading. The bill of lading is what they had on the ship, what the ship name was, and when the ship actually was destroyed. Let me explain something to you. The part where people get mixed up with when it comes to slavery, slavery was a business. It was no different than UPS. The only difference is the package was people. That's the only difference. The only difference is the package was people. So guess what? They kept records. They kept records. They kept records of the boats. One thing with these ships, whenever a ship is born in the water, it's born in the water. That's where the term born come from. It has a life. That ship is documented, especially if it's a commercial ship. That ship is documented from the time that it's born in the water until the time it is destroyed or sunk. And then another thing that you have to understand is, just like I said, slavery was no different than the UPS. No different than the UPS. So, when slavery was over, when the importation of slavery was over, coming from Africa to the Americas, a lot of people that was in the business of slave trade across the Atlantic, they moved their their interest into other products. And so the ships began to serve things like cotton, serve things like wheat, serve things like sugar cane. You know what I mean? So the ships were still in operation. It just changed the cargo, as Elohim X said. It just changed the cargo. So the straw man argument is, where are the ships? Where are the ships? Where are the ships? Well, let me tell you something. Do you see all of those what they call them trucks that cook outside? You know them cooking trucks outside that you see out at the stadiums, and they be out there with cooking. You know, they used to probably be UPS trucks. They used to be bread trucks, and now guess what? They're selling hot dogs out. Vending trucks. They used to be UPS trucks. They used to be bread trucks. They used to be mail trucks. But guess what they're doing now? They're selling hot dogs. They're selling hamburgers. And if one day UPS go out of business and you never see a UPS truck, would you be so foolish to say, what happened? Hey, UPS never exists. Where are the trucks? They over there selling chili dogs. And that's what happened with many of the slave ships. They just went into other businesses. That's it, man. Like, it's not that difficult. It's not that difficult. Somebody might look at the picture right here with the brother laying down right there and say, man, he ain't no real slave. Look how he chilling. Well, in reality, slaves on some plantations had a lifestyle that was interwoven in servitude. You know, it became a norm for them. It's kind of like if a person ever seen a prison story or been to prison, and you say, man, these guys are laughing, these guys are joking, these guys are lifting weights, these guys acting like they not serving life sentences. They just going up. Well, one thing about the human being is pliable. The human being is, over time, is able to adjust to any circumstances that they're faced with, or they will succumb to the conditions of the circumstances and they will expire or, X themselves out. But if they have a will to live, they will make the best out of the worst situation. That's just a human trait that most human beings have. And in slavery, listen, I was reading earlier, getting ready for the show, I found a story about a slave that could read, right? And the slave, he had a subscription to a newspaper. You know what I'm saying? He had a subscription to a newspaper in the early 1800s. And he kept the subscription until he transitioned. And guess how he paid for the subscription? He paid for the subscription by making brooms. They was making, there were no slave masters. Where are they? He paid it by making brooms, and this was the story. I was like, wow. Now, this was something that I didn't know. Like, hold up, he can get a subscription? Like, wow. So it just begs the reason that we have not been told the full story of how the institution of slavery worked. We haven't been told, and we haven't studied the full story of how the institution of slavery worked. Slavery was brutal. It was definitely brutal, but there was other aspects of slavery that people were in it, and that was their life, and they made it their lifestyle, and it became a norm to them. And as I think my brother mentioned in here, Elohim X mentioned conditioning. They became conditioned to it, and it was what it was. Back to my main point is that there's a plot to try to get our people separated from our African roots. And this is a thing that I want to challenge. Why is it so important to try to get us separated from our African roots? Let me say this, family. If things go all down the drain and you needed a place for refuge, wouldn't it make sense to have someone that you can reach out to receive you if this place was to go down the drain? Wouldn't it make sense that we create relationships in the diaspora as opposed to create enemies amongst ourselves? Don't we got enough enemies? I mean, it would be nice to finish the story out, then show and prove what you're talking about. Finish what story out? I'm not, what you mean? Definitely brutal. It had to make due self-preservation. Absolutely. It would be nice to finish the story out, then show and prove what you're talking about. I don't understand what you're saying, Dr. Sebit Jr. Anyway, I'm having a conversation with my people. I'm making sure, listen, I haven't been live in a while. So I haven't been alive in a while on this flow. So I'm just going with it. Listen to this. This is Escaped Slaves in Canada. Remember last night I was talking about how Canada facilitated, you know what I mean? Let me get to this argument. I'm gonna get all comments. Them Africans would not accept us in Africa. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. However, let me say this. You have ignorant people everywhere. But who cares who would accept us? That does not change the historical fact, Shorty McGriff. We're talking about historical accuracy. We're not talking about someone accepting us and giving us a hug. We're talking about historical accuracy. You can't be accurate with history if no one give you a hug and pat you on the head. You know what I mean? Like, you can only accept history accurately if someone hug you. Is that what you're saying, Shorty McGriff? That sounds crazy. That sounds crazy. But let me tell you something. There is multiple countries in Africa right now. There's multiple countries in Africa right now that's inviting citizenship. Inviting citizenship for Americans. And let me tell you something. Whatever is going on in Africa, that doesn't change historical accuracy. The point, listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. To talk about how Africans are fighting each other, to talk about how Africans won't accept those brothers and sisters in America, you can say that all day long. That still doesn't change history and accurate history. You can say that all you want. Africans can't wait you to come over there to cut your head off. It still doesn't change history. Accurate history. Thank you so much for the super chat. You understand what I'm saying? Whatever you're saying, it doesn't change accurate history. And that's the part that we got to get out of our feelings. I mean, they say Americans are lazy. It doesn't change accurate history. They say like we acting like children now. We acting like children now. We acting like children now. Because again, that doesn't change accurate history, family. No matter what you say. I mean, they can say whatever they want. It doesn't change accurate history. Do you get that? You know what I mean? Do you get that? We're talking about history, family. We're not talking about somebody liking us and patting us on the head. We're so used to the European patting us on the head and giving us the crumbs that fall from his table that we think that everybody need to pat us on the head and like us. You don't have to like me for me to see accurate history for what it is. So I can teach my children the time when we were great, the time when we will be great again, the time when we dominated all of the natural resources for the benefit of mankind and humanity. So you tripping at this point. I mean, you're tripping at this point. But anyway, thank you so much for the super chat. 00, appreciate you. Anyway, as I was mentioning that the end of the line of the Underground Railroad was in Canada. So for Tariq Nasheed to say the other night that nobody helped us, you know what I mean? Right here.
Don't nobody help us. Foundational Black Americans, listen, we had to survive 400 years of terror without real collective allies. I'm talking about groups of people. We never had groups of people helping us. All these other people demand solidarity. Look, during slavery, Reconstruction, Jim Crow, lynching, Foundational Black Americans, we had to fight that by our damn selves.
That's a lie.
There was no immigrant bloc helping us, no foreign government helping us, no global community intervened to help and stop it at all.
And here you go right here. In Canada, former slave fugitives. This is in 1892. They would not return slaves back. And you know the sad thing about that? Do you know that Tariq claims to be from Detroit? I mean, do you know he claims to be from Detroit? And Detroit is one of the last passageways from America to Canada. I've been there myself. How can you be from Michigan and claim that nobody assisted when Detroit, Michigan, has one of the... Listen, I was so green as a blade of grass. We stumbled on it. We stopped the place for lunch. My mother and I, we was coming from Chicago. My mother and I and my family, we stopped the place for lunch. The place where we stopped at, I looked across the water and seen a big old flag, Canadian flag. And I said, Mom, that ain't no Canada, is it? My mother looked at me, I looked at her. We both looked dumbfounded for a minute because we only stopped for lunch. I said, let me Google this. Up jumped the boogie. It was Canada. And so what I'm saying to that is the last stop to freedom, for him to claim that he's from Detroit. One of the last stop to freedom. This is the statue. Me and my family got pictures that I couldn't find right at the time. This is the picture right on the shore, and you look right over and you can see the Canadian flag from America. You understand what I'm saying? And this guy is on the internet saying that no government, nobody helped foundational Black Americans. No one, basically, that foundational Black American stuff is phony, but nobody helped the slave. Like, come on, man. Like, we want to be victims, you know what I'm saying? We want to be victims. We want to act like we don't have no allies. Come on, man. We got some allies. If it ain't but 2 or 3, we got some. You might can't trust them all. But he's just up here lying for no reason. You know what I mean? Yeah? No? Nobody helped us, huh? Yeah, we had to do this by ourselves, huh? Not a government, yeah? No, yeah? And these fools eat it up because they don't know history. You know what I mean? They don't know accurate history. And it's sad. I mean, man. Look at this. This is the old slave. Look, they look like they straight in the Congo. You know what I mean? Now, right there, that might be Indian. You feel me? But the whole thing about it is that, like, I don't know if you can see this, but this is like a manifesto, if you will. Packages of contents, 118 Africans Let me tell y'all something real quick. Let me show y'all something real quick. I got about 10 more minutes real quick. But let me show y'all something. At the end of the day, right, and when you understand history, like this is crazy. I need to do a book on this stuff. At the end of the day, right, do y'all know that when they couldn't get slaves from Africa no more, that's when they started running the slaves up and down the East Coast, north to south, right? They started running the slaves up and down the East Coast, north to south. And that's when a lot of the mixture began to happen, where people would think that they were from we're not from Africa, we were just up in Delaware. I was born in Delaware, and they got put on a ship, and then they was taken to Mississippi or something like that. But that's a couple generations in. And this is the part that they don't understand. There was a couple generations in. So they said they just took us from Delaware and then just took us down to Florida. They took us from Florida. Let me tell you something. I want you to, if you get a chance, what you want to study is, what's the name? Shoot, let me see if I can find it real quick. It was a business, a crazy business model. Do I got it? I'm looking for it right now. I don't think I clipped it. It was a crazy business model. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It was a crazy business model that, let me see, I'm gonna Google it real quick. Where it was a company that's what they did. They pride themselves on moving slaves. Let me see. I'm gonna Google biggest slave company in America. See if it come up real quick. Oh, Franklin and Armfield. That's what it is. Franklin and Armfield. That's what it is. Franklin and Armfield. Let me show y'all something real quick. Yeah, this is very important, family. If you want to study, I love to study, family. I love to study. So you can't fake me out with no nonsense, right? But let me share this with you. It's Franklin and Armfield. And what they did was they sold slaves up and down the East Coast. You know, let me see. Let me see something. Try to pull it up real quick. There it is. There it is. Stand by with me 1 second. All right. Here we go. Let me string it down. So this is the company right here. This is the company right here. Franklin and Armfield Slave Prison. And what these dudes would do, these Europeans would do is they would not only have legitimate slaves from people that held slaves, they will also kidnap free people and sell them on the slave market. This is where people would attribute the police to. Franklin and Armfield. Remember, press 7 if you remember when people would say that the police are slave catchers. Press 7 if you remember somebody saying that before. Anybody remember them saying that? People using that term? Police slave catcher, police slave catchers. Basically, that is drawn out of the business of Franklin and Armfield, which they would go to places and send a band of men to catch free Africans, free people, put them in the prison, and then sell them on the slave market. Here it is right here. This Franklin and Armfield slave prison, this establishment in Alexandria, it is a handsome 3-story brick house, neatly painted with green blinds and a sign. Franklin and Armfield, over the door. It has attached to it a large yard, perhaps 300 feet square, enclosed by a high. I want y'all, see, listen. They are giving $400 cash for Negroes. They was flipping our people like work. You understand what I'm saying? See, a lot of people that try to teach this, a lot of people just do sensationalism for history. Sensationalism, trying to masquerade it as history, but what they really just trying to get a few views. I get it. You look at Dane Calloway, he got 50,000, 100,000 views. He even got 1 million views. But when you do the check on some of the information, it's just not accurate. And so again, at the end of the day, these brothers and sisters that are hiding from their identity, and FBA is another hide from the identity too. This is FBA. You notice that FBA never talk about the brutality of slavery. They say that they FBA, they trace themselves to the beginning of the plantation, but they never talk about the brutality that they suffered at the hands of an oppressor. But what they do, they talk about those who come here to escape oppression from their country and escape systematic oppression that the European left when they left their country, and they come here for a better life, and then they attack the people that look like them. But they never talk about the systematic oppression and the horrors that was suffered at the hands of unjust Europeans here in America as they talk about themselves being FBA. It doesn't even make sense. That's why you need to understand that it's a play. It's another government play. It's just another government play. It's just another government play. That's the only thing that makes sense. Nothing else makes sense. You trace yourself back. You say you trace yourself back to the census, but you never look at the brutality in that era of time. You never address the perpetrator of the brutality in that era of time, but you address someone that would come here. And as someone say, proud of hip hop. Arguing about whether hip-hop was created by a Jamaican or someone in the Bronx. But you would never argue about who created this condition where crack is running rampant in the 80s, where heroin is running rampant throughout the Vietnam War and bringing it over to the America in the 70s, where weed is now synthetic to the point where as though it's not even real, coming from the earth, is made in the lab, and everybody dumb as a bag of bricks. They never address these things, the systematic things. Who control the music that goes through the airwaves for all these years that makes these young brothers think that they're gangsters and thugs? Like, at one time, the only thing that would play on the radio is kill this, kill that, smoke this, smoke that, twerk this, twerk that, twerk this, twerk that, as if no other hip hop exists. Who controls these things? No one ever addresses those things. And so, Morris World TV, I address those who are being the hand of the hidden person in the background. And this is what we need to address. I believe that if we clean up the house, then can't nobody come through the back door. We need to clean up the house. We need to look at the infiltrator in the house with their feet on the couch, and we need to get their feet up off the couch. And if they don't get their feet up off the couch, then they need to get up out the house. And we need to find out who has gotten so comfortable that they can tell our people anything and everything and sway our people away from the unity of our people, family. We got to do better, man. We got to do better, man. Come on, man. We got to do better. You feel me? We got to do better, man. You feel me? We got to do better, man. And we got to stand on business, man. I want to give a shout out to Professor James Small. Professor James Small standing on.
Certified boogeyman.
I'm the boogeyman. I appreciate y'all, family.
Certified boogeyman.
I see y'all Saturday night, man.
Certified boogeyman.
Check 1, 2.
We're gonna speak the truth, regardless of whether you like that truth or not. We're in the 21st century. How people are poor, hungry, ragged, naked, and out of doors. How people are being murdered on a daily and consistent basis.
It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you. A couple weak bars that crept through. He put the bean on me, I didn't neglect you. Time's up, allow me to bless you. He yelled reparations and he got your attention. A failed clown rapper, claimed he was pimping. But you don't know, he was a fed since 9-0. Cosmo Flex was a front for 5-0.
You can't get dropped in a pit of snakes
Certified boogeyman.
and trying to figure out which one has the venom sac.
Certified
This
boogeyman.
tongue, this one is not
Certified
poison.
boogeyman.
FBA laughed when he went to the Romans. I guess they don't understand, that's you own them. Lying on GS, claiming I stalked them. That ain't true, cause if it was, I'd have chalked them. I'm simply a blogger, researching for the family. Cause people look like me, continue to scam me, continue to scam us in the name of liberation. But when you call them out, they claim that you hate me.
Certified boogeyman.
Man, welcome to another edition of Morris Raw TV. I am your host, Brother Tariq Nasheed.
I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember. I be that more you gon' remember. To Hawker Bay front line to the law, call my number. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, that's right. I be that more you gon' remember. To Hawker Bay front line to the law, call my number. You a friend of the more than you a friend of mine. I was told to watch my enemies, now hold my line. Those that speak against the prophet, they speak against me. And I'm speaking about the prophet over Drew Ali, who was the first to remind you and bind you back to Morocco, the mountains, Mississippi, and Quebec. Told you you wasn't black, proved it with straight facts. You tripping off trucks, you need to be tripping off that. Now here we go again, acting like you a slave. The same people talk European how to bathe, and looking at women buying European hair. No love for self, but do the men really care? Hell no, cause they got a love for Europe. Whole generation chasing pills, weed and syrup. Yeah, they love Lil Yachty, Tucci, Gucci, Kodak, Amigos, Raw, Lucid. But when the love for the woman look like your mother, I guess they say it's all black when it's under the cover. Now cypher, I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, that's right. I be that more you gon' remember. To Hawker Bay front line till the law, call my number. I be that more you gon' remember.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I'm putting cases on bitch niggas now.
Don't make me do it, Tariq. I know all your secrets.